It happened. It's finally here. Switch 2. It's here. Oh, I don't know if they snap in the intro. So, it's here. This morning, January 16th, Nintendo of America and the UK side and all the other YouTube channels, they just dropped the first look trailer of the Switch 2. And I have not covered any leaks regarding this console because these leaks and rumors, all of them rumors because nothing was officially leaked, have been going on for years. But here, we finally start seeing what the Nintendo Switch 2 looks like. That it's going to be a lot like the Nintendo Switch, but bigger and better. The top is going to be featuring volume buttons like before. However, we're now also getting a second USB-C at the top of the console, right next to the headphone dock and the card holder. Now, later in this video, they do talk about backwards compatibility. We're going to be talking about that in a minute. Next, we're treated to the kickstand is the entire length, and it comes all the way out, and the system can lay all very flat looking, and then it springs back up because that's fun. Now let's talk about the Joy-Cons. They're bigger, blacker, sleeker, and sexier. Instead of them being huge amounts of color, like the original launch console was for the Nintendo Switch, now it's gonna be accents of color. And they are still sticking to the blue and red, but the red is much more of a coral color. We're also seeing that on the right-hand side next to the home button, there's another button down there. What this button does, we don't know, and I swear and hope and pray it's somehow social connectivity or something else or something useful. We now see that the inside of the Joy-Con is going to still be having the side left and side right buttons like we were. However, instead of it being able to slide into the bottom of a Joy-Con rail, it's going to be popping in. We're also seeing that we have LED indicators for the controller's player position. The manual sync button is still there, but now at the very top we have sort of like a little what looks like a pressure point. And then at the bottom we have what looks like a larger button, and not very visible here, but just next to the actual port connector, there's something in there that people have speculated and had ideas that it's an optical sensor, which sounds very Nintendo of them. We're also going to see now here at the bottom right, we don't have the weird IR sensor that was used in like 2 things, including Nintendo Labo. Onto the left Joy-Con, it has its blue color that looks pretty similar of a blue. And on this exact screen, it very much looks like it's an optical sensor. Now, what this optical sensor is used for, not exactly too sure, but if it's an optical sensor on the inside, it could possibly be used sort of like a PC mouse. So maybe you're going to be able to move the mouse around, which, listen, if they did that, that is genius, because all of these Steam games that are then ported to the Switch have to have controller functionality, and it is so lacking. But you being able to take one of the Joy-Cons off and then use that as a mouse, that's a game changer. That is fantastic. Fantastic. Love it. Oh, throughout this entire video, we're given no information as far as tech specs or anything else or video capabilities, so don't expect anything like that until we hear later on. The Joy-Cons are then slamming down into what looks like a Joy-Con holder that then connects to the Joy-Con. So all the important bits and bobs have pass-through on there. You still have that plus and plus and minus and minus. I guess that's going to be the top connector that locks it into place. There might be one at the bottom. Still not 100% sure how these things hook up. And yes, there are rumors, there are ideas going around. I'm just saying it's not exactly too certain what that button is going to be doing. We make our way to the bottom of it, and it's just a strap that braids through. Pretty simple. And it's especially this scene that you see the Joy-Cons just sort of like running on a flat surface really hits home in my head that they are optical sensors and it can be used like a mouse. And they're going to be attaching by just plugging into the side. And now this is the only point that they're going to be connecting, and thusly the only possible point of failure. How it's going to work, how hackable it's going to be instead of sticking a paper clip in the bottom, if those little connectors are going to be secure or anything else like that is all yet to be seen. But it's sleek. Oh, and it's called the Nintendo Switch 2, which, listen, Calling it the Nintendo Switch 2 is genius. I don't know if you know that, because last time they had a wildly successful console, the Wii. They followed up with the Wii U, and by putting a letter after it, people thought it was an add-on, especially the fact that the main controller was a very large tablet, and the base of it looked very similar to the Wii, so people thought it was an add-on, not its own separate console. The Wii U was, in every single way, a commercial failure. The Switch being as wildly popular as it is, rivaling the popularity of the Wii, they did not want to make that same mistake again. And calling it the Switch 2 very clearly lets people know that this is the sequel. This is the upgrade. This is the next one. It's going to be better in every way. It has some backplay with the previous one, and this is the new thing. You're not going to look at this and be like, oh, well, does this supposed to be combined with the first one? Absolutely not. This is the new one. It's better. And then we're treated to a teaser of a new Mario Kart game, which this game doesn't exist. And the first thing I'm going to notice is how many slots are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Are they going full Mario Party Jamboree? Yes, it is 24. 24 racers on a single board. That sounds fun. Which also means that the system has to be powerful enough to have 24 people on. Everyone has a brand new design of kart, and Mario's has like 3 little sticks coming out of the front, kind of looking like the actual Joy-Con plugins. The Switch 2 is then going in the dock, which is curved and nice looking, and we can see some of the screen while it's in there, so that's probably not helpful. I mean, in a very specific thing, just to know that it is actually fully plugged in. We see a Joy-Con grip, and as we, or I don't know if they're called Joy-Cons, but whatever the Switch 2's Joy-Cons are, Joy-Con grip, that has the same mirror to pass through the lights on which of the Joy-Cons is going to be which controller. Also, if you look at the screen, Donkey Kong has a new redesign based off of the Super Mario Brothers movie. And that is the new Donkey Kong with the big eyebrows over the eyes. Not exactly too sure how I feel about that yet. Coming this year, as they promised for years previously. And then we get our first screen with words on there other than 2. Nintendo Switch 2 plays exclusive games as well as Switch games. Switch 2 plays both physical and digital Switch 1 games. Great. Certain Nintendo Switch games may not be fully supported or compatible. This is very broad language, and don't worry, your favorite game is most likely fully compatible. This is, just pure examples. Labo. You can't play Labo on the Switch Lite or the OLED Switch or the Switch 2. It only was made to fit the first one. There are also games that require the Switch to be either in docked or tabletop mode or handheld mode. Those games may not be compatible as well. Probably 1-2 Switch if you thought that tech demo was a game. Fun fact, I have such a deep-seated hatred for 1-2 Switch that in the studio bathroom, that is where 1-2 Switch has remained forever. And it's so bleached from being exposed to the sun, and this is what it deserves, okay? If your 1-2 Switch is not bleached from the sun by sitting in front of the sun for the last 7 years, you gave 1-2 Switch way too much credit. We also get a side-by-side size comparison, so she's a chunky gal. I just noticed something on this screen here. They're comparing the original Switch to the new Switch 2. They're not using the OLED Switch because the OLED Switch is bigger, right? The cartridge is the same size. That leads me to believe that this is a 2-scale image. So we can figure out the screen size. Using real rough and dirty pixel math, I'm pretty sure the new Switch 2 is going to be between a 7.9 and an 8-inch screen. 7.93, let's just say about 8 inches. So it's going to be another horizontal inch compared to the OLED, which is a 7-inch screen. April 2nd, 2025. If you watched the UK one, it was 0204, which I saw that and I was like, oh crap in a hat, it's in February. Nope. I watched the American one and it's April 2nd. 4 days before my birthday, which is neat. There's also a series of hands-on events held around the world. This is very similar to what they did for the first Nintendo Switch console, which I was lucky enough to, when I was a nobody, back when I had 20K subs, and I only covered Pokemon Sun and Moon. They basically pick a few different cities, and there's very limited attendance. I think it's real small. It's like groups of 60 or 80 people, and you're in there for like a half hour, and you get to experience all the games very briefly. Granted, the only thing people wanted to try out was Breath of the Wild. Registration is going to be open January 17th at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Time until January 26th midnight. A free Nintendo account is required to enter. The events are New York, LA, and Dallas, open to US residents only. The Switch 2 experience in New York at Center 415, which is 417 5th Street, not 417. That's going to be going on the weekend of my birthday. So I'm going to try to get in there on the 4th or the 5th, and hopefully not on my birthday, but if so, not the worst birthday present. Doug Bowser, if you're listening, that's my birthday. I would like to be there. I want to be there. You should invite your boy, me, Austin. I'm your boy. There's also LA the following weekend, the 11th through the 13th, and then in Dallas the following weekend, April 27th through 25th through 27th. Sorry. From your Nintendo account, you have to select a venue and session time, and then complete the registration form. Got it. So I can't register for all three of them because, you know, I could travel to LA the following weekend. This also lets me know something very important here. Over the last year, Nintendo's been doing a very good job on plugging their leaks. There is one team with secure consoles that are specially modified for these events, and it is that same one team, one weekend after our next, going to these 3 locations. That's it. Not anyone is getting their hands on this. And that pretty much sums up the whole video. The Nintendo Switch 2. It's finally announced. It's finally real. You know that it's real. And I just want you to remember something. Just remember something for me. I didn't bombard you with BS rumors for the last 4 years about this console. I waited till now to talk about it because I respect you as a gamer and I respect your time. Big question here. I'm sure lots of people are thinking about this. What about Pokemon Day? Pokemon Day comes at the end of February, like 5-6 weeks before this event, and we've had no Pokemon news since last Pokemon Day, last February. So are they going to be showing us Legends EA gameplay? Are we going to be learning something about the console for that game? Or are they going to keep it strictly gameplay and not tell us anything about how it runs or functions or anything else? And we have to wait for Digital Foundry to do an analyzation of it. I don't know. But the Switch 2 is here. I rushed home from vacation to record this video for you all. Came home a day early, first flight, middle seat, fun stuff. Switch 2, it's finally happening. I'm excited for it. We have no idea the price. We have no idea the specs. We have no idea anything other than it exists, which more news than we've had for the last 2 years, so I'll take it. Great. Guys, for Switch 2 coverage, be sure to subscribe here at Austin John Plays. Until next time, Austin John out.